Hey everyone! Today we're talking about two important Malaysian laws, but make it fun. Let's go! Fun fact number one. The Sedition Act 1948 is older than Malaysia itself. It was introduced during British rule before independence in 1957. Yes, this law is basically a senior citizen. Fun fact number two. It was created during an emergency. Back in 1948, the British were dealing with unrest, so they made this law to control speech that could cause rebellion. Fun fact number three. It's still active today. Even though it started in colonial times, it's still being used in modern Malaysia. Fun fact number four. It doesn't just apply to speeches. It can include writing words, publication, and even online content. Fun fact number five. It's one of the most debated laws in Malaysia. Some say it protects harmony. Others say it limits freedom of speech. So yes, drama always included. Now, let's jump to the internet era. Fun fact number one. This law was made in 1998 when the internet was becoming a big deal in Malaysia. Fun fact number two. It's created the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission, or MCMC, the body that regulates communication and multimedia. Fun fact number three. It doesn't just control social media. It covers telecommunications, broadcasting, and online service too. Fun fact number four. Section 233 is the famous one. It deals with improper use of network facilities, meaning offensive or harmful online content. Fun fact number five. It's all about balance. Freedom to speak online, but also rules to keep things safe and orderly. So there you have it. One law from the colonial era, one law from the digital age. Both still shaping how Malaysians communicate today.
History of Sedition Act 1948. The history of the Sedition Act of 1948 is adaptation of British colonization in the 19th century. This act stemmed from a colonization in the Indian Empire which absorbed Malaya before its independence from the British Empire. This law was enacted in response to threat posed by the Malayan Communist Party, as we may know as a PKM, Parti Komunis Malaya. The Sedition Act began as enactment, then as ordinance, and eventually became the Sedition Act, which went into effect on April 14, 1970. Since then, it has undergone two significant revisions. The first reform was implemented to protect Bumiputra special status under the federal government, the monarchy and the dominant role of the national language. And the second one was revision limited and widened seduction by deleting seditious crime against the government and judiciary while introducing religious sedition act. There were no prosecution under the Sedition Act during Malayan colonization, but after Malayan independence in 1957, trials under the Sedition Act began. Amazingly, the statute was never utilized against communist sympathizers or the organization leader. They all later laid down their arms in 1989. However, it has been primarily utilized against generalized and social activists from opposition political party. History of Communication and Multimedia Act 1998. Malaysia introduced the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998 or CMA 1998 to regulate telecommunication, broadcasting and information technology under one unified framework. The law replaced outdated system and created a technology-neutral approach to manage the rapidly evolving media industry. It is enforced by the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission, also known as MCMC. The Act has been used to investigate and charge individuals over online content, sometimes alongside the Sedition Act 1948. While supporters argue this law will help maintain a national stability and social harmony, critics believe they may restrict freedom of expression. Additionally, MCMC also administered the Postal Service Act 2012, which regulates mail and courier service with clear licensing and fair competition guidelines. Overall, this law reflects Malaysia's ongoing effort to balance freedom of speech with national security and societal cohesion.
What if a single sentence could put you in court? What if one social media post could lead to prison? In this part, I will discuss other cases under different acts, the Sedition Act 1948 and the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998. These cases involve different individuals, but they raise the same critical issues, the limits of freedom of expressions in Malaysia. Under the Sedition Act, speech can become a criminal offence. In 2013, Adam Adli Abdul Halim called for political change. He was charged, convicted, years later acquitted. Karpal Singh, a senior lawyer and MP, was also convicted for comments during a constitutional crisis. After his passing, the conviction was overturned. Even academic opinion was affected. Azmi Sharom was charged for expressing a legal view. The charge was later withdrawn. 3 individuals, 1 powerful law, protection of order or restriction of speech. Then, the focus shifted online. In 2016, Muhammad Amirul Azwan Muhammad Shakri posted comments on Facebook that were considered insulting to royalty. He was sentenced to 1 year in prison. Artist Fahmi Reza published a caricature of then Prime Minister Najib Razak as a clown. Charged, convicted, later overturned. And in 2025, Hedi Kwak Gaili challenged the law itself. The court struck down the words offensive and annoying. 2 acts, 6 voices. The balance between harmony and liberty remains a continuing debate.
For the background of this case, it involves 2 Malaysian bloggers, Alvin and Vivian. In July 2013, during the holy month of Ramadan, they uploaded a controversial post on Facebook. The post showed them eating bak kuteh, which is a pork-based dish, together with the greeting Selamat Berbuka Puasa and a halal logo. The post immediately sparked public outrage, particularly among the Muslim community, as it was seen as insulting and disrespectful to religious sensitivities during Ramadan. Due to the backlash, they were investigated by the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission, or MCMC, under Section 2331A of the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998 for allegedly misusing network facilities to transmit offensive content. In addition to that, they were also charged under Section 298A of the Penal Code for allegedly causing disharmony between different religious groups, as well as under the Sedition Act and the Film Censorship Act. However, in 2014, the Court of Appeal struck out the charge under Section 298A, ruling that the provision was not applicable to non-Muslim. Overall, this case became highly controversial because it raised major debates about freedom of expression, religious sensitivity, and the extent to which cyber laws can regulate online content in Malaysia. Under Section 2331A of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998, Alvin and Vivian were investigated by the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission after uploading a Facebook post during Ramadan that was considered offensive and insensitive to religious sentiments. The authorities viewed the post as a misuse of network facilities to transmit content that was obscene or offensive in character. During the investigation, MCMC officers seized laptop and digital storage device to obtain electronic evidence, as the alleged offense involved online communication. This highlights the importance of digital forensics in cyber-related case under the CMA 1998. The case also contributed to broader legal debates regarding the interpretation of the term offensive under Section 233, especially in balancing freedom of expression with public order and religious harmony. Under Section 233, a conviction may result in a fine of up to 15,000 ringgit, imprisonment of up to 1 year, or both, demonstrating the seriousness of online content regulation in Malaysia.
Let's start with posting statements that incite disloyalty toward the government. Section 4, Column 1A of the Sedition Act criminalizes statements that promote hatred or disaffection toward government institutions. In this case, some of Alvin Tan's Facebook posts criticized the judiciary and government during a politically sensitive period. Even if the posts were personal opinions, the law considers whether they could weaken public trust in the government. This shows that in Malaysia, the impact of online statements is taken very seriously. Next, we look at publishing provocative political criticism online. Alvin Tan and Vivian post a Ramadan greeting showing themselves eating pork, a dish forbidden in Islam. The timing and content offended Muslims and went viral, increasing social tension. Under the law, the key question is whether the content has a tendency to create hostility, not whether actual violence occurred. This illustrates the line between criticism and unlawful provocation. The third point is about challenging judicial or religious authority through social media. Their post mocked Islamic practice during Ramadan, which was seen as disrespecting institutions that maintain public harmony. Even without causing harm, statements that weaken respect for judicial or religious authority can be punishable. This highlights the legal boundaries of online speech in Malaysia, especially when it involves religion and authority. Fourth, we consider dissemination of content that threatens public order. The viral post triggered nationwide complaints and police reports. In Malaysia's multicultural society, provocative content can quickly escalate tension between communities. Authorities act proactively to prevent unrest. This shows how social media can amplify controversial content, and the Sedition Act serves as a preventive measure to maintain stability. Fifth, spreading views that create hatred against government institutions is taken seriously. Speech that insults religion may indirectly affect institutions irresponsible for interfaith harmony. The RVV post caused public condemnation and official investigations, showing that freedom of expression has limits when it risks hostility or undermining national unity. This enforcement also acts as a deterrent for others who may post similar content online. Finally, online expression that risks social disharmony in multiracial society must be handled carefully. Malaysia is diverse and communication must respect racial and religious sensitivities. The LVV post trivialized a sacred practice angering many. Even if intended as humor, the law focuses on the tendency of content to create tension. The Sedition Act serves to protect national unity and social harmony.